Hello everyone, it's Saline here. I'm just going to give my initial thoughts on the World of Warcraft Legion. I'm really hyped for this game. You can't really tell by my voice. Just kind of neutral about it right now. But when I saw it, I was really hyped for the game. I still am. I'm definitely going to pre-order it. And I'm just going to give my initial thoughts on it and throw my 2 cents. So in the cinematic trailer for World of Warcraft Legion, which I don't really like the name that much, Legion. I would have just put Revenge of the Legion or The Return of the Legion. Anyway, in the cinematic trailer, you can see Gul'dan finding Illidan in some sort of crystal, and then he just touches it, and it powers up Illidan. I guess he was just slumbering, and then he was just waiting for some sort of source of fel energy or some sort of energy in general. And one problem that I would have maybe with Illidan returning, I'm fine with him. I really like the character. Actually, I really love his design and everything. But one problem I might have with Illidan returning is that he might be overused. He might be just the new Thrall, basically, where they just try to use him in every single dungeon, every single raid. And I hope his story is more of just that he works for the Legion like around halfway through the game, just the start of it, and then halfway through, he stops working for the Legion. Maybe he was gonna betray them at some point, and then he sacrifices himself or something. I really can't imagine a World of Warcraft where Illidan is just walking around and stuff. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be overused just like Thrall. So I hope that he has a great story, but that he doesn't accompany us to the next expansion, because that would be kind of strange, and Blizzard might ruin his character. Although we'll see in the future. So it seems that all the new expansions, or from at least I've seen, since Mist of Pandaria, they're all going to be connecting each other now. So the ending of every expansion, for example, in Mist of Pandaria, you defeat Thrall. I mean, not Thrall, sorry, Garrosh. And then there was that novel where it's war crimes, and it just shows that it just connects to the new expansion of Warlords of Draenor. And then Warlords of Draenor, the ending for it, spoilers if anybody cares about it, but I'm pretty sure everybody's seen the ending cinematic, is that Archimonde sends Gul'dan through this portal and says, you have, we're both binded to each other or something like that. And then he just sends them through the portal, and they're not sure where he went. And new expansion connects directly to that. So it seems that now every ending cinematic for every expansion will connect to the next expansion. Unlike, for example, the Burning Crusade, they just ended with, I forgot the cinematic, or if there even was a cinematic to it. It's just you defeating Kil'jaeden, and it doesn't really connect to anything that has to do with the Lich King. You could say that maybe it didn't connect to it, since Kil'jaeden is kind of connected to the Lich King, but there was no direct connection. So they also revealed a new class, which is one of the classes I always wanted besides Death Knights, which is the Demon Hunters. And the Demon Hunters look epic. I'm pretty sure they did mention that you could have them without horns, but why wouldn't you have horns? I mean, it looks great. Besides that, I'm pretty sure that the Demon Hunters will be also race specific, as in just Blood Elf and Night Elf, and I'm pretty sure maybe Human. I'm not sure on that. But from the pictures I see, I've only seen Night Elf and Blood Elf, and I think I've seen a female human be it, but I can't imagine a little dwarf being a Demon Hunter. But we'll see if that's an all class. Here, it's also a heroic class actually, but we'll see if it's an all race class, or if it's just gonna be specific, somewhat like Terra Online. And this I forgot what the class was in Terra Online, but there is a specific race class. But it would be funny just watching around some gnomes walking around with demonic wings, just huge horns that are too big to even fit their body. Anyway, the Demon Hunters also have a really cool transformation, at least I think from DPS. So the DPS, they have a transformation where they just grow horse hooves. They look a lot more similar to Illidan, and they just grow bigger horns. You can have different styles of the Demon Hunters as well, not just the Illidan similar looking black veil on their eyes. They can also have a little veil, kind of like this, more blood elf. I guess more race related veil on their eyes. And there's also the tank spec. There's going to be DPS and tank, which I find great. They actually spoke about that they were thinking of a healer class, no, a healer spec for this, but they didn't really see it. I couldn't even see it either. I don't really imagine a demon hunter healing other people. Although, I don't know, maybe they just use soul stones, they just crush them, and then just, I don't know. I don't really see a healing class, but they only made two specs for this, which would be just tank and DPS. A lot of people have been saying, why don't they have three specs, kind of like tank and then another DPS and another DPS, and I think it's fine just two. I think if they just focus more on one DPS spec, it'll be better than just focusing on two, because there's like some DPS specs, kind of like Hunter, where two of them are useless, or just like one of them is useless and nobody uses it, or like Mage, where, for example, Arcane is useless and nobody uses it, so there's like no point in having it. I think it's just better just two. I actually like the change. But Demon Hunters, they have three abilities that they've shown off, which is that they can transform, which is one of my favorite abilities that they have. I will definitely main Demon Hunter through the expansion. They're going to have more mobility, and by that they just showed a double jump. I'm not sure if there's going to be more obstacles through the new continent that maybe Demon Hunters can just jump to places that others can't and find certain objects. And they also have spectral sight, somewhat like the hunters, that they can see people that are stealth and stuff. But besides that, just a quick note. I'm wondering how that's gonna work in PvP, or if that's even just gonna work on just around the continent, just PvE, because that's gonna kind of defeat the purpose for rogues if they can be seen by demon hunters. Anyway. So, Demon Hunters will be obviously wielding Warglaives. It doesn't show in the website how they're holding the Warglaives. They're just similar to Illidan's from right here, as you can see them. Now, one thing that I didn't want to know is that there are weapons that are similar to Warglaives in World of Warcraft already, but I'm wondering if they're going to make them into a new type of weapon, such as, a bow. There's bows, there's guns, there's swords, there's two-handed axes, one-handed axes. I'm wondering if they're going to make a new class of weapon, and it's just going to be called Warglaive, or if they're just going to call them swords. They're just going to classify them as that. And I'm also wondering if Warglaives are just exclusive to Demon Hunters, or maybe Warrior can hold Warglaives as well. I'm not sure about that, but, Anyway, so besides the Demon Hunters, they also revealed that there's going to be new weapons, and more specifically, spec weapons. So, for example, Retribution Paladin will actually get the Ashbringer, which I honestly love the idea. There's also going to be different skins for the weapons. So, for example, there's this kind of corrupted Ashbringer. There's also this more, I'm not sure, like an improved version of the Ashbringer. It looks more like a Mist of Pandaria style kind of Ashbringer, or more like an updated Ashbringer. And there's going to be more of like a darker Ashbringer. I don't really see a corrupted one here. I'm guessing this is the corrupted, but I'm wondering if you can actually use that corrupted Ashbringer style, because that's my favorite design, more like it, of the Ashbringer. There's going to be for different classes, so there's going to be each one for the Death Knight, there's going to be one for Druids, there's going to be one for Monks, there's going to be one for Hunters, and each one has a spec. Now, the only things I have a problem with these weapons is that it seems that they're going to take away the weapons in the loot system. So, for example, in a raid, you won't be able to loot weapons. The only thing you'll be able to do is improve them. And, I mean, for some that might be a bad thing, since they like to transmog new looks to their weapons. And I'm also wondering on that, just following up on the whole transmog idea, will you be able to transmog these weapons that you get? Or are they going to be kind of like more legendary thing, so where you can't transmog them? And There's also the problem that a lot of people will be walking around with an Ashbringer, so you're just gonna be walking around Orgrimmar or just the capital city, and then you're just gonna see about 50 people with the same weapon. That's gonna kind of make the things a lot less diverse. But maybe if you can transmogrify them, that's gonna help a lot, since it's gonna make some people, stand out a bit more. The people that choose not to show off these like legendary weapons, although I don't know anybody that wouldn't want to have the Ashbringer showing off. So that might make it just might make people look a lot less unique. But we'll see. There might be different skins as well. These probably aren't the only ones, and also it's gonna be obviously harder to get these skins. It's not gonna be just here's the weapon and then here's like 5 skins for it. That's all you're gonna get. I'm pretty sure you're gonna have to work off for some of those skins, especially on PvP. They've been talking about that some skins are unique to just PvP, such as this weapon for the Dead Knights. This is actually the PvP once you get a certain prestige, which I'm gonna talk about in a bit. But yeah, the weapons, I somewhat like them. I'm just questioning if that's going to be our only weapons through the whole expansion, or if there is also going to be weapon drops, or at least maybe transmog weapon drops. That might be a possibility. That would be nice to see, or some type of token that you can collect so you can get a certain weapon look. So anyway, there's obviously going to be a new continent, and it's called the Broken Isles. The Broken Isles, this is the map they're showing right now. And from what I can see, it looks somewhat small. I'm not sure if it's going to be bigger if once we go in. Obviously, you can see Dalaran right there in the distance. That's going to be our main city now. So there's not going to be a garrison from what I've heard. Sorry about that, just phone. Anyway, so there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different leveling zones, and they raised the cap from 100 to level 110. I actually saw Nixium's reaction. If you guys want to check out his video, I'm going to link it in the description. But Nixium, this Machinima guy, he actually spoke about how he didn't really like the level 110. He would have much preferred if they'd actually crunched the numbers. So the new max was now 60, and then they would actually have to crunch numbers everywhere. So, for example, Elwyn Forest, from instead of being level 1 to 10, it would change to level 1 to 5, which I think that's a really dumb idea, honestly. I don't think it would work. They would have to crunch so many numbers. They would have to change all the dungeons. They would have to change, they would have to change so many numbers for the dungeons. What would ICC be like? That's for level 35 players. Ice Crown Citadel's level 35. Then there's just Dragon Soul, that's going to be level 40. Mist of Pandaria raids would be level 45. That seems too convoluted. And a lot of people have been talking about the talent tree. I think it's always fine. It's been always fine. The talent tree before, Wrath of the Lich King, if you guys don't know about it, the Wrath of the Lich King talent tree was actually more of 3. You could actually invest on some talents for some certain spec. For example, you could be unholy but have some blood talents in there. And what I didn't like about that is that even back then, there were so many options for customization, but the problem was that everybody was copying everybody else, so there was no point in that extra customization because there were so many useless talents that you could get. So they're probably gonna not change the talent tree. They're just gonna add an extra talent, which I'm really excited for, honestly. I want to see like what crazy stuff a warrior can do after just spinning around, the whole thing. Maybe there's gonna be some certain shout that just pushes people away like 50 yards or something, or just Death Knights summon some sort of undead dragon or something to help them out. But yeah, I'm really excited for the leveling process. So 6 areas. I'm pretty sure it's going to be around 2 levels per area, or I'm not sure it's going to be split. Maybe some areas are going to be for just high level, for mining or something else. I hope that you can actually explore the land instead of just Draenor, where you're just planted in your garrison. There's no point in exploring it. Thankfully, they actually did mention that there's not going to be a garrison, they did mention that you're gonna have your own little room for it, for your own class. So, for example, if you're a paladin, you're gonna have your own little place under the some temple. I forgot what it was called. The temple for now. If you're a warlock, you would get your own little. There's no warlock weapon. If you're a warlock, you would actually just be in a different planet entirely, full of lava. Maybe a place that was destroyed by the Burning Crusade. And if you're a monk, you're probably gonna just be in a temple all alone with some followers. But these followers aren't like the followers from the past expansion, as in Warlords of Draenor, the current one actually. They're actually gonna be followers in the sense that you're actually maybe gonna have to do dungeons with them. You're not just gonna make a Facebook game where you put them to do something, they leave for 2 hours, they come back, give you some gold. They're actually gonna be more of NPCs that help you out through maybe scenario, somewhat. So they're gonna get rid of garrisons, and hopefully people will be outside and explore a lot of the new continent. Hopefully. There's also gonna be new heroes. Oh, and before I mention the new heroes, I was also wondering on the PvP, and apparently the PvP, they're actually gonna give you these weapons. So the weapons will actually be for PvE and PvP. So now you're not gonna have to do that whole weapon grind thing, but there's also gonna be less customization, as I said before. And PvP, I don't really do raids, so I am really excited for this PvP update. A lot of people don't like it, but I personally do. Where, for example, the honor system is now going to be somewhat similar to the Call of Duty. They didn't mention that in the event. Where it's going to be like prestige levels. So, for example, if you get certain amount of honor, then you can go up ranks, and there's going to be a new PvP talent tree. So there's going to be actual abilities for some PvP classes, which is great because I actually had a discussion with guild buddies where they actually were talking about some like talents that are useless for PvP. I'm like, yep, but you can always use them for PvE. Those are actually useful for something. But now they're gonna actually put talents that are actually useful for PvP. So you're gonna be able to level up your character through these certain honor system, and you're gonna be able to get certain talents, and you're gonna be able to improve them. And if you push them to the maximum level, he's gonna get all the talents, and you can just turn all of those talents away, and you can get an extra level and maybe some sort of customization for your weapon, or you can get a new mount, or you can get maybe some new gear. You're gonna be able to customize more if you turn in your whole talents and all the leveling. You earn a rank, you earn some sort of customization, and then you have to start from the bottom again, which I think is a great idea, honestly. There's been so many times where I just get full gear on PvP season, and then I don't know what to do. The only thing I do is basically go on different BGs and destroy some people, get some honor, and maybe buy some, for example, some heirlooms or maybe some gear to customize to transmogrify. But this is pretty good. I actually like the new PvP change, and the only difference also, they're trying to make it more balanced. They did show an image where they showed a person with the PvP gear, the one that you could get with honor, and the epic gear the one that you could get with conquest points. So I'm wondering if they're gonna even change conquest points in general. They're just gonna make it into honor, and they're gonna try to make it more balanced. That's what they tried to do in Warlords of Draenor. That's what they said. So I wouldn't hold my breath if they actually didn't change much. The only thing I am expecting, and they haven't announced it yet, but I'm pretty sure that they're gonna announce, is some new battleground. Hopefully it's gonna be on this like weird planet, or maybe it's gonna be on this like burning legion place where there's like lava spilling everywhere, and that would actually be really cool if they actually implemented the lava from Tenai Jungle, where if you drip on it, if you take a dip into lava, you get more power, you get more buff spit, you also get debuffed, as in you get more damage. So that'd be really cool to see. That whole mechanic, if people can like sacrifice some health and some defense for offense, and then they can like try to kill people, as many people as they can. I wouldn't say go as far as implement kill streaks. That would be kind of weird for World of Warcraft. Just some announcers saying double kill, triple kill. Seems more like a Call of Duty thing or a Halo thing. But the PvP, it seems like everything will be a bit better than Draenor, because they're actually going to try to change some stuff. Unlike Draenor, where they changed nothing. They didn't give us anything. So, going back to what I was talking about, there's going to be all these heroes and also villains. There's Maeve Shadowsong. She was actually in the Burning Crusade trying to capture Illidan. I'm guessing that she's going to try to capture Illidan once more. There's also Savius. Savius, a lot of people must not know who Savius is. I personally, when I saw him, I didn't even know what character this was, but apparently Savius is this night elf that betrayed, that was actually like an advisor to Queen Azera, and he betrayed the night elves and turned more into a demon-looking guy. This was his old model, but apparently they updated it, making him more fat with wings. So I'm not sure if this is like an even more powerful Savius. I'm pretty sure there's a quest where you kill him in World of Warcraft, but I'm not sure. Hopefully it's not this alternate reality thing where it's this alternate reality Burning Legion. That would be stupid. There's going to be Anduin Wrynn. So Anduin Wrynn is actually known as the biggest pussy in World of Warcraft. And not much can be said about him. He just looks a lot more awkward now. His upper body is just kind of like too big for his lower body. His face is kind of, I don't know, he looks a bit more human, but he still looks kind of weird. So apparently he's going to play a big role about it. I'm going to delve into the characters a bit more in some other videos, but I'm just going to make a quick run through. So besides Anduin Wrynn, there's going to be Tide Mistress Athesa, and she's going to be more of a follower of Queen Azera, so there's going to be also some Queen Azera appearance in this expansion. There's going to be Gen Greymane, Gen Greymane, who is a Worgen leader. You actually see him through the Worgen starting zone. So he seems to kind of out of the blue. I didn't expect Worgens to actually get more of a story in the new expansion. I didn't even expect Worgens to get any story in any other expansion. But, you know, that's going to be pretty cool to see. Just Worgens having more of a part in World of Warcraft. Would have been great to see goblins and gnomes also take more part in World of Warcraft, but that seems for another expansion. They already did get another expansion in Hearthstone, so I guess they got some. There's also going to be Dark Rule, the Underking. So this seems to be just an entirely different race. I tried to search him up. There's nothing about Dark Rule. Dark Rule, that's a strange name. But he apparently has kind of a beef with the Tauren, I believe. It says Hammer of Khazagral, something. For centuries, the Tauren and the Drogbar tribes of High Mountain lived in peace, but soon after the Legion's arrival, are they supposed to be those boar things, or is that just a new race in general? I tried to search him up, but I didn't find anything about him. There's going to be Khadgar, which seems to be the new Guardian. I'm not sure if they're going to ever talk about Medivh's son, who was supposed to be the Guardian, or they're just going to retcon him with Khadgar. But he's going to be, you know, his own self. He's going to be boring gold Khadgar that just kind of just explains everything to you. And there's nothing much new about him if you already seen him in Warlords of Draenor. There's going to be Gul'dan, which was confirmed as a second boss of the as the last boss of the second raid, sorry about that. And he seems just to be a return, kind of like a Garrosh, where he's going to be there and he's going to taunt you, and then you just kill him almost instantly. So, yeah, Gul'dan's going to be there, but he's probably going to die. And there's going to be also Sylvanas Windrunner, which is a big surprise. I didn't expect her to be more in this expansion. I thought they were going to deal with her in another expansion. More of like kind of Rise of the Banshee Queen, where she turns into kind of a Lich King thing. But apparently they're going to deal with her story in the Legion expansion. So the problem that I see with that is that there's going to be too many stories. I hope that they can actually tell the story better than they did with Draenor. They can actually expand on the characters and such. You can maybe go on scenarios and then see their story. Or I just hope that the storytelling is a lot better than Draenor. More like Mist of Pandaria. But hopefully they don't ruin it. But this is kind of jumping the gun because apparently they're also going to mention Turalian and I forgot who Turalian's couple was, but they're going to mention them too. They're also going to talk. They also talked about the heroes talking to the Titans. So it's just a lot of big names out there, and I hope that they don't like ruin some of the characters, especially the next one, which is Illidan. He's going to make a comeback, and after the fall of the Black Temple, the corpse of the Lord of Outland, Illidan Stormrage, disappeared. So apparently it just disappeared. We just beat Illidan, and then we turned our backs, and then he disappeared, and then we turned back, and all we found was maybe a warglaive. So he's going to make a return, and as I said before, that's a lot of big names, so I hope that they actually tell the story correctly. I hope they don't mess up just like in Draenor, as I said a billion times before. And, you know, they also show off some artwork, such as like the Blood Elf Demon Hunter, which I'm probably going to main. Since I play more of Horde, there's some of the other designs for the covers for the eyes. Most of them are pretty cool, except for this kind of derpy looking one to the far right. Looks kind of strange, you know, with the whole veil thing going on next to the one where the normal. You can even not have a veil in general. So it's going to be maybe even an option where you don't have a veil nor horns. You look a bit more normal, but I don't know any person that would actually want that. There's some screenshots of the places, so we're probably going to be there's like Legion looking places, and there's going to be more of Night Elf inspired places. There's going to be a lot of changes, just different places in general. It's not just going to be focused on one single type of thing like in the Burning Crusade, where actually they did have Nagrand, but it's going to be a lot more diverse. And here's the box art, probably. That looks really enticing to me if you ever see it in the GameStop. They did mention that there's going to be an improved transmog, which I don't really understand how they can improve the transmog system. Maybe they're going to be, maybe they're going to let you transmog legendary weapons, and also going back on the whole Ashbringer thing. I hope that they actually put the corrupted Ashbringer in the loot table, or at least as a skin, because that's my favorite design. And there's also going to be a character boost to level 100, so I'm guessing that's a pre-order bonus, or I'm not sure if you buy the expansion and it's going to be a level 100, which I hope it's not that. I hope it's more of the pre-order bonus where you get level 100, because just buying the expansion and getting a free level 100, that seems kind of bad just for the whole community, because you're just going to be running like PvP or some raids, and then you're telling some partner just try to avoid this attack, and they're just like, this is my first time playing, I'm just level 100, I don't really know what to do, I don't know where to go, and then there's going to be like a lot of level 110s that don't know where to go, like they're just going to be lost in Stormwind, they're going to be lost in Orgrimmar, they're going to ask a bunch of people, it's going to be kind of annoying. But besides that, I do have to mention that, as I said before, the Demon Hunters are a new hero class, so they're going to start out in a higher level than other classes. They're just similar to the Death Knight, but I'm wondering what level they're going to start. If I had to put a level for them, I would probably just put level 70. Just like the level cap for the Burning Crusade, it would make sense. But we're going to see what they do. Hopefully they don't mess up the class, but knowing Blizzard, they usually make the class really overpowered in the start of the expansion. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to have a lot of fun with Demon Hunters. And on the last note, a lot of people have been saying that Demon Hunters are just kind of annoying to Warlocks, since they're really similar to them. They can metamorphosis just like Warlocks. They use Fel energy just like Warlocks. They have similar what would you call them, armor designs, similar armor designs. And the only thing I can say about that is that there's already Paladins. A lot of people say that that Demon Hunters are really similar to Warlocks, but you know, I just compare Demon Hunters to the same thing as Paladins. Paladins use the same energy. I mean, the same powers as what's it called? Same priests. They use the same powers as priests. They only use them more in a DPS kind of not ranged manner. So for me, Demon Hunters are the Paladin to priests. Demon Hunters are Warlocks, but more of just, not DPS, sorry, more of physical. They actually use weapons instead of warlocks where they're more ranged. Same as priests, they're more ranged, and paladins are more just up to your face. So yeah, you can probably comment that, see if you actually don't like the whole demon hunter thing because it's going to ruin your vibe as a warlock. But that seems to be the end of it. There's going to be another cinematic for the Legion thing. But that's all I could dig up for now. These are just my initial thoughts. I'm probably going to talk about more as more news come from this. But I'm really hyped up for this new expansion. I hope this is going to be the one that actually cares about the people, well, the subscribers, because Warlords of Draenor was just complete garbage for everybody. There was like no content whatsoever. The only content there was raids, which honestly I didn't even do one raid on Warlords of Draenor since I PvP and there was like nothing to do. They just put Ashran and that was it. So hopefully they're going to put new BGs, new arenas, and they focus a bit more on PvP, and you know, they just keep on doing what they're doing with raids, because what I've heard from is that the raids on Warlords of Draenor were some of the best. So hopefully they just keep up with the PvP. And those seem to be all my thoughts for now. So see you guys later, and if you have any other ideas for Warlords of Draenor, or if you want to share some of your thoughts, you can always put them in the comments below. Alright, thanks for watching.